All right, guys, we're back to another episode of the Pierce Wildlife Podcast.
Welcome.
So we started this thing, and we had a little bit of technical difficulty with our mics here, so
Yes,
we
you
had to
did.
pretty much restart from the beginning.
Yep.
But hey, we got a little practice, so we shouldn't make any
That's right.
mistakes here.
It was
know.
going pretty good. I hate that.
I know. But we did find something new.
We did. Thank you.
What are the odds that we say the exact? Oh, wait, I know the odds.
No. You know what the odds are.
That's what happens when you spend a lot of time.
Yes, it does.
And for 33 years.
Long time.
Wait. Yeah, 33.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you're coming up on 3-4.
I don't even know. The problem is, I don't know if everybody has this issue, but like, I really looked forward to 18.
Yep.
I looked forward to 21. I looked forward to 25, or was it 6 when your insurance comes down? And then you kind of look forward to 30 because you're in your 30s. Like, it's not like you're like, oh, I'm getting older. I'm
Can't
so
wait to get
excited.
there.
But like, but it's cool, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, in between 26 and 30, like, I lost my age a lot. I couldn't remember where I was.
Yeah.
And now I'm losing it again. Like, I cannot ever remember what year I am.
It's not the most important thing in life.
Right. You learn that
Although
as you get
do
older.
appreciate every year.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you,
for sure.
Jesus.
Yeah, thank you, Lord, for waking us up every day. So, got a couple topics we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. I did tell a story on the last episode, before we started this episode over again. I guess I'll tell it again.
4 or 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes ago. I just can't even believe I did that, honestly.
It's a pretty good story.
Yeah, so one of the conversations that got started on the last episode was we talked about killed a lot of deer. We've missed not many.
No.
So when I say missed, and I mean deer that like have been shot or not found or not recovered, because it happens.
Oh, yeah.
But I have straight whiffed a deer before. When you first got this property, it was 2020, and I was hunting where the redneck is now, and I set up one of those Ameristep dog house blinds.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a doe come out about 20 yards in front of me. I can't remember if I was using a bog pot or something, which hopefully I was not. but that deer come out, and I don't know if I missed it or if I hit it and the bullet went so fast through it that it didn't have no blood, but I couldn't find that deer and couldn't find no blood ever.
Oh, man.
That's the only deer that I've ever whiffed.
I don't remember you telling that story before.
Yeah, it's not a story I'm proud of.
Okay.
I've never told anybody that, actually.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
But you know what's funny is we talked about we've had some mishaps with deer hunting, because you do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot.
Yep.
But what got us on that story was one of the things we're going to talk about is what do you feel like is your best shot you've ever made?
All right. Okay.
And if you need to think about that.
Yeah, give me a minute.
And then
I've
another.
made a bunch of good shots over the years.
Yeah.
I've also missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you know, it's funny too, because you correlate good shots mainly to like, what is a good shot? Is it like how you're set up, where you hit the deer or hit the animal? Because a lot of times I think of good shots, like if I made a good shot, most of the time it's going to be bird hunting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I've made some good shots on deer and they don't run, 5 yards, or they drop in their tracks. That's not super common, but it does happen pretty regularly. But like, really, would you say that making a good shot stems generally from shooting birds?
Well, I mean, it's funny you brought that up. I was thinking of a different good shot.
Yeah.
Or the best shot I've ever made. And then all of a sudden it just hit me on one. and
then,
sometimes it's luck. I'm just going to give a little quick story. But, probably my best shot would be Texas 2 years ago. And the way that buck was in, I watched that deer for 4 days.
Yeah.
And I just was expecting something a whole lot different, a whole lot bigger. And I kept seeing this deer, and this was going to be the biggest deer that I'm going to see. So I might as well take the shot. But anyhow, when I shot that deer, he just dropped like a sack of potatoes. He didn't even, nothing. It was like, boom, down. And I think a lot of my favorite shots are a little high. Everybody said, pick the spot right dead in the center at the heart and all the others. But honestly, most of the time, if I shoot a touch high, that deer don't move. They drop dead in tracks. I don't know what it is. There's something up in there.
Yep.
And the deer just, boom, and it's over. There's no flinch, 100%. No nothing. I mean, it's just, and I like that shot. That's my favorite shot. But probably one of the best shots that I ever made, I was about 12 maybe. And you mentioned birds, and I was in the yard and we was cutting up, and all of us boys, we are always trying to figure out who's the best shot, We shoot whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I had this little single shot 22. It's my favorite rifle. I've had this thing forever. It will go down to the boys. But I used to carry a pocket full of 22 bullets in my pocket and rack it open like a lever, and you drop it in there, and boy, you look like the rifleman back in the day, But anyhow, so we're all shooting, and we all got our own little guns, and we got targets and stuff. And I said, one guy made a shot, and I said, oh, that's good, that's good. I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. I threw that rifle down beside my hip like I was going to pull it off my knee down there, and I pointed up, and I said, you see that bird at the top of that tree right there? Yeah, you ain't going to hit that bird. Just what you think. Pow! Bird fell to the ground. I'm like, like I meant to do that.
Yeah.
But what went through my mind is my daddy always told me, whatever you shoot, you got to eat.
Oof.
Uh-huh. So how does that make
bird.
Oh, it was a nasty old bird. I was like, I got to bury this thing so before daddy gets home.
Robin or something.
I think it was a mockingbird, to be honest with you, but that thing was driving us crazy flying around out there anyway, but it was funny.
That is funny.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly felt like you were going to tell the story of when you shot that, was a 9-pointer out at maybe the old hunting club where you shot it left-handed.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you, I've got a bunch of good ones that way. Yeah, it was a 9-pointer.
That's the one I was expecting, honestly.
Well, that was a good deer, and I was to tell that one real quick, too. I was actually sitting in a stand over the top of a flood ditch, and it was on the side of a ravine, and it, how you sit on this, I probably wasn't 15 foot in the air on my climber. I climbed up, and I was facing this area, and you could see where they were funneling down through this flood ditch because it was like a Y. They came in from both sides, and it was plenty deep enough they could get in there, and you'd never see them. So I got up on the side of it and thinking I'd be up there, and that way I'm like, well, I better get higher than on the edge of it because if deer's up here on top of the hill, they're going to see me.
Yeah.
And I happened to be up there looking down in that ravine. All of a sudden I heard something behind me, and I turned around, and that deer come running in after a doe. And I'm like, man, that's a good buck. Well, I tried to twist around where I could take the shot to the right side, and he actually run over there, but then he'd run back to the other way. Then he'd run back that way. So it was back and forth, but I'm sitting, my back's against the tree, and he's behind me. So he comes over, and I'm like, gosh, I'm going to miss this deer because I'm not even going to get a shot. I couldn't get turned around. The old deer stands wasn't like they are nowadays. Nowadays, you got a whole lot better climbers. But this was an old tree master, and it's not much better than a homemade deal.
Yeah.
So anyhow, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to take a shot on him left-handed because he got on my opposite side, and I put that thing up there on my shoulder, and I got him in my sights. Bam, dropped him dead in his tracks. I'm like, wow,
yeah,
I ain't never shot nothing. I ain't never even shot left-handed. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, same concept.
Yeah.
But the bullet throwed out in my face.
Right.
It was a little bit different.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny you talk about that left-handed shot. That is a difficult shot to make for sure.
I mean, I've actually had to lean sideways and kind of lay over a little bit on a limb, leaning, not straight up on the perfect shot, just to get a shot on the deer because the limb's in the way.
Yeah.
And all right, this deer's fixing to disappear. This last opportunity I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people's done this, so a lot of people's gonna be able to relate what we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. So you talked a minute ago about shooting the deer kind of high.
Mm-hmm.
I have always generally shot deer kind of, middle or lower, generally heart, lung. That's what I kind of aim for.
That's what's taught.
But the deer I killed in Texas last year was a little bit higher shot. It was like 180 or something yards out. And so that that group gets a little bit wider. Well, long
Right.
story short, I aimed for the middle, and maybe I flinched a little bit and brought it up a little bit, but I shot it probably top lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it just buckled. And now
dropped.
that's the first time I've ever done that with a deer and shot higher and the deer drop.
All right.
I can't remember. I would probably say that is the only deer that I've ever killed that has dropped in its tracks.
I mean, right there. No, nothing. When it's over, it's over.
Right.
It's just there. I've shot a lot of deer that way, and I have found when I shoot a little bit higher that they do that. I'd like to hear some other people's opinions.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd
I'd love
that
people
too.
to respond back and kind of tell us what you think about it.
Yeah.
But, and I'm sure somebody else has had the same experience and probably hadn't even thought about it. If you want to know the truth about it, if they hear this, they're going to go, you know what? That's a true statement.
Yeah.
You know, or they might be saying, oh, y'all full of crap. You know, I'd like to hear what people say.
So I guess about a year, maybe last season or the season before, Black's Deer Cooler up the road, you know, they're pretty interactive with their Facebook and stuff. And they had posted a picture, and it was a grid system.
Mm-hmm.
It was A through maybe F or G or whatever on the left side. And then the right side was, you know, numbers. And when it went through that, you know, a lot of people were saying that higher lung shot, but then you had the other group of the people who were saying that lower, you know, lung and heart shot, which is, you know, kind of what you aim for, like when you're practicing on one of them target deals on the bows.
Right.
And you had a pretty big split.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here looking back, like I remember hearing these people or seeing these people on Facebook saying, you know, the upper lungs, and I'm like, man, these people are crazy. I'm not shooting that high. But now looking back, I'm like, I probably would have dropped a lot more deer if I'd have just aimed a little higher. I mean, it's pretty wild.
I'm telling you, for years I have shot most of the deer that I shoot a touch high. The last probably 8 years, they don't run.
Yeah.
They're dropping, except for Nine of Diamonds.
Yeah.
When I shot him, he was a little lower than what I normally like to aim. He did run. He run about 25, 30 yards. Wasn't far.
Right.
I mean, I got there. I seen his rack sticking up, you know, through the woods.
Right.
So I could tell he was down, but I heard him crash too. That was nice.
Yeah.
But you don't, I mean, I don't know. Everybody's got a different preference, maybe.
Right. Now, when I say all right, so I would say one of my best shots, and this is on a bird for sure. We were hunting this duck swamp over behind. There's a subdivision off 92, and we had an opportunity to hunt this place for a little while.
Well, yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and it was a great duck hole. It was really off the Flint more than it was behind the subdivision. It was the craziest duck hole that we've ever hunted, I would say, in this area. There was times that there would be nothing but mallards. There'd be mallards, wood ducks, teal. There'd be gadwall. I mean, it was just the craziest variety of ducks for this area.
Duck smorgasbord.
It was. We'd always end up with geese, mergansers, and wood ducks every time we went. Anyways, this one morning we went, me, Brian, and Bailey went, and there were 2 ducks that were pretty high. I mean, like, real high. Like, high enough to where neither one of them grabbed their guns.
All right.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a shot because they are not landing. I'm going to at least try.
There you go.
And, man, I dropped both of them gadwalls. They were flying side by side. I don't know. They had to have been, I don't know. They were high. They were well higher than treetops, like by far.
Perfect
I shot both of them with 2 shots, and that would probably be the best shot I've ever made.
There you go. That was a good shot. Not so lucky duck.
No, not a lucky duck. Now, I did have a very unlucky situation one time with a good shot, but I shot at a deer. We was at Joe Kerr's, and it was a really good deer. And when I shot it with my bow, and when I shot the bow, there was a tiny little limb. I'm talking about the size of your pinky.
Mm.
And that thing stuck out up past the tree, and I didn't see the limb. That's how small it was. Well, the long story short, I shoot at this deer with my bow, and I see the tree moving, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, how is that tree moving? Like, there's no way I hit that tree, and the tree wasn't no bigger than, you know, I don't know, maybe
Couple
the
inches
size,
around.
yeah, 3 or 4 inches around. And I get over there, no blood, no nothing. Well, Brian comes down, helps me try and find this arrow because he was hunting. I think he was hunting with us that night too. But his dog, Sadie, ended up finding my arrow, and it was broken half, clean, and there was a notch cut out of that tree limb that was about the size of my
Perfect.
pinky. So it was just a perfect deflection that broke my arrow. But anyways, that kind of stuff happens.
Well, I kind of got a story about that too. I mean, I shot a deer, probably one of my longest shots. It was probably, well, I won't say longest shot. I've made longer shots than this, but it was on my first mountable buck that I got. And I was over in Pike County. We had this hunting club where Wampus Cat was.
Yeah, Wampus Cat.
That's another story for another day.
Whole nother.
But anyhow, I was over there and it was so hot that day, and I was sitting there in a t-shirt and pants pulled up past my knees, just sweating like, I said, man, I ain't gonna see nothing today. And I just happened to catch a blur off to my left over there, and I was in my old climber. And I used that climber for many years, that old Tree Master. It was,
yeah.
But anyhow, that's another story. But anyhow, I'm sitting here looking up, and I see a blur down in the woods, and I'm like, that was a deer. And I rub my eyes because I'm sweating so bad. And I look up, and sure enough, it was that buck. And I actually looked through my scope, and I barely could see him down there. And he was about, right, I think we gauged it was like 230 yards or something like that. It's a long ways through the woods.
That's a long ways.
If you're in a field, it's a different ballgame, but you're in the woods, and it was in a swamp on top of that.
Yeah.
And I looked down at my scope down there, and I seen that deer, and I put up on there, and I'm like, man, I'm fixing to get him. This is my first mountable buck.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, but it's making me shake.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking through my scope, and all of a sudden I'm watching him, and he takes a step at the same time I'm squeezing the trigger. So naturally you follow the deer. So I took the shot, and that was one that I had to track down. I told the story a little bit in the past, and I don't remember if I told it ricocheted off the tree, but it actually hit the side of the tree and went in the deer and killed it.
Wow.
But it was a little bit back, so the deer actually jumped up, turned around, and run the opposite way.
Yeah.
And it took me the next morning before I could find that deer. Dang. But anyhow, that was wild.
Yeah.
But a ricochet, again, like what you're saying, that can actually make you or break you.
Yeah, it will.
In your situation, it broke you.
Yeah.
In my situation, I was able to recover the deer, but it took me another day.
Yeah. That's cool.
It is cool.
So, bucket list hunts.
Bucket list
of
hunts.
all of them.
I guess I would say maybe I'd love to go shoot an elk.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd hang that rascal.
Right. Especially right now.
Your mama might kill me.
Yeah.
But I'd love to go shoot one of those. I've always wanted to. Never thought I'd be able to, but I feel like I could make that trip happen.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys want to get involved in it
Yeah,
or whatever.
well, I would like to. I know Brian's been talking about it for years. Zach just said something about it the other day.
Yeah.
I think we could definitely do that in the foreseeable future.
Maybe y'all can do that for my 60th.
Oh, yeah.
Is that asking too much?
Yeah, right. Dang.
Oh, that's funny.
When is your 60th?
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
Ain't that in like 2 years?
Well, slow down there, fella. I'm 57, so
3 years.
Yeah, well, not really 3, because I'm coming up on
2.5.
Yeah, about 2 in a few months.
Yeah.
September the 1st.
Yeah.
I'll be 58.
Dang.
I've been 57.
So we got 2 years to plan for it.
Yeah, that's right.
We might can make that happen. Yeah, I'd like to do that too.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I would like to do is probably go to North Dakota and shoot ducks in the morning, pheasant in the evening. I think that's what I would like to do.
Okay. I was this close to saying pheasant. I want to hunt some pheasant.
Yeah. And not like cage birds like people do around here. Like, I want to go
do the real deal.
Yeah.
Take Darla.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus help us.
I think she could do it.
Oh,
she could point them for sure.
But we got to get her there.
Yeah. I know. We'd have to stop 100 times.
You'd have to drink that dog to get it there.
For sure. Put it to sleep and put it on a plane.
Yeah. Ain't nobody going to know about this but old Mr. T. The only way you could get him where he needed to go is you had to trank him back in the day.
Yeah. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. Another one I'd like to do is, and I've been talking about this for a little while. I think I really want to go to Maine. And there's a guy that I've been following on there for, I don't know, probably 5 to 10 years on Instagram. And his name is Pitboss Waterfowl. And they do sea duck hunting up in Maine. I want to do that bad.
Oh, that'd be
and
fun.
Specifically with him, because I've been following him like before he was big, like when he was getting like 25 and 30 likes on his post. Now he's getting like thousands.
Oh, wow.
But like, you know, back in the day, me and him even used to like message each other and like talk to each other, because he would post, you know, a duck picture and I'd tell him that was cool or whatever. And I'd post a picture of some wood ducks and he'd be like, man, that's cool. You know, cause they don't shoot wood ducks. You know, it's.
Maybe you can invite him to come down here and do a swap out or something.
The only problem is if we go with him, from what I've seen, we're going to be successful. If he goes with us, he might shoot a duck or two.
Well, that's okay. He'll eat good.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he would.
We'll definitely feed him.
You know what?
We'll hang out and
I'm
have a
going
good
to
time.
send him this episode. Maybe we'll get a plug or something.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, I would love to do that.
That would be a good time. No doubt. There's lots of things I'd love to do. Honestly, it's just, man, I actually have had a hankering, you know, in the past, want to go shoot a bear.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That was my younger days when I could run.
See, I don't
see that happening none now.
I don't really know that I even care to shoot a bear.
Yeah. Well,
you know, like what?
Yeah, but I mean, I was young and frisky back in them days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't strike my fancy no more. So
it don't strike mine at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
One of my buddies said it don't blow my hair back. Speaking of going to Maine, Mama got us some of them lobster tails for Father's Day from Maine. Yeah. You whoop them things up right now.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah, they were good.
Also, though, those shrimp were probably the best.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. Them shrimp, I don't know why you put that Old Bay on there and butter them jokers up.
I didn't do no butter.
You put no butter on?
No, sir.
I put the butter on. I was dipping them things in that butter. Now, I'm telling you, that was good. But I was thinking, man, if we'd have had about another 2 pounds of them, whew, I went home hurting after that one.
I'm telling you, those shrimp were like.
They were good. And
also, you know, me and Zach he bought an extra pack of ribeyes when we went to that Yoder Farms down in Barnesville.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Yoder Farm.
Yeah. So we cooked up those two. They were frozen, but obviously, you know, we thawed them out, which some people say not to thaw them because the inside still keeps a cooler red and you can like burn the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. My steak I had that tomahawk.
Yeah, yours was
Man, that thing
pretty
was
big.
Good. Yeah, big steak.
But like those ribeyes were really good.
I didn't taste that.
They were really good.
I bet it was good.
That whole meal, though, was good.
It really was.
That's one thing about Father's Day. We get to eat.
That's right.
And Mother's Day. Really, any holiday.
We ain't got a problem eating anytime.
No, we ain't got a problem. And we know how to
have
cook.
A good meal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of that, did you know that now apparently, I don't know if this is how this would work out, but apparently like that, you know, stale cracker, apparently like you can like, I don't know if it's like a hire or like you buy the stuff from him or whatever, but like he will like come and cook like a low country bowl for you.
Yes, he would. I'm gonna tell you what though, I thought about that the other day since it's funny you mentioned that. We could get enough of our buddies together. We could probably all get together because he fixes up these big old pots of food. We could probably get a bunch of folks together and pitch in and have that joker here and have a good old time. I'm telling you.
That would be fun.
Tell me that wouldn't be a good time. What about Dovefield?
Well, here's the problem. I don't, like if he comes up, I think I would want to hang out with him.
That's what I'm saying.
The problem is I ain't going to want to get off the field till 6:30, 7 o'clock.
I mean, we could sit there and watch the birds fly and hang out and, you know, him whooping up some food and all of our buddies hanging out.
That would be fun.
That'd be a good time.
We might need to send them a message.
That's right.
I guess.
Yeah, come on.
I'm assuming that's what you would do is you'd send them an email or something.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
It would be a good time. Put that on a cracker,
and then
dude.
exactly. And then we could go on and tell him come over here and do a podcast with us.
Man, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
We got big plans.
I don't know the way. I don't know that we could keep up. He's pretty entertaining right by himself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, that's the whole point. Like, he is entertaining enough. They're not, they would listen to our podcast because of him, but he's like, what do I need to do that
I wish I could grow me a mullet like that.
Oh, that's fake.
Well, that's what I thought. But
it is. It's fake. He puts on a wig mullet.
Okay, well, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I could too, especially now that I'm bald.
I wonder if he's bald for real.
I think he is.
New idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might buy me a.
Mm-hmm. Joe
That's
Dirt.
money, dude.
I'm coming.
Mullet. Yeah.
The mullet.
The mullet.
Or as far as Forrest would say, the molded.
Yeah, the mullet. I did want to have him on soon. Let him try to tell his story about that deer.
Yeah, that would be good.
He's funny about that deer.
I'm telling you, dude.
Because he legit told Flint, my first deer bigger than yours.
He told me that. I'm like, son, don't make me knock them little old teeth you got out of your.
Yeah.
You ain't even got your real ones yet. I'm fixing to knock them.
Yeah.
And he's so funny, man.
He is a knucklehead, boy. I'm telling you.
I tell you what, though, old Cash made a little joke about me just a couple of days ago.
What'd he say?
Yeah, he said I'm gonna play with Pop. We're gonna play some football, and I'm gonna throw it right at his bald head because it's a perfect target. I said, what? I went over there and seen him this afternoon, and I grabbed the clippers, and I says, guess what you gonna get? He said, what's that? I said, I'm gonna give you one of them perfect targets right on the top of your head right now. And I turned that thing on, turned it back, and stuck it on his head. Ooh, he started dancing and trying to get away. It was so funny. Pop, pop, pop. That's all I heard.
That is so funny.
It is funny. These youngins, they kill me.
Man, they are so funny.
I can tell another. Annie called me. She's wanting me to take her on a date next week, so I got to set a date. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. I said, you got to go to church on Wednesday night, baby. She said, nope, we're on summer break, so it can be Wednesday or Thursday. I says, yes, ma'am. So we're going on a date next week, and I'm sure I'm fixing to have to spend some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be some shopping involved, I promise you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what? We might need to reach out to this good boy.
Yeah. It's pretty old good, ain't it?
Tell them to, why don't y'all sponsor the show?
That'd be nice. And John Daly, he's in for a good time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways. Well, we got to wrap it up.
Is it that time already?
Yeah.
Wow. We always have a good time doing this, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Man, we appreciate everybody listening.
Yeah, we really do. We appreciate y'all listening. Y'all make sure to like, share, follow, comment, blah, 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 all the above.
Send us something you want to talk about. We'd love to do that too. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and if you want to come on, just shoot us a message. We love having people on. It's a good time for us. But other than that, well...
You know what they say.
Yeah, you know what they say.
I'm telling you.
If it makes you shake, don't wait, don't hesitate. Shoot that thing.